Greetings, friends. It's me, Women, and I just wanted to come on and discuss a little bit the book that I finished reading. Ozzy CDA read this one also, and he may do a video, but I kind of jumped the gun. Got all excited, had all these ideas I wanted to get out of my brain and put them on video, so I can move on thinking about other things along the same topic. So I decided to jump the gun. This book was excellent in some ways. This book is called Jung and the Lost Gospels, Insights into the Dead Sea Scrolls in the Hammadi Library. And I'll post a link for it down below. But this is interesting. And the beginning of it was kind of dull. The reason why is because this book is a little bit older, and a lot of the history that he discusses concerning Dead Sea Scrolls has been updated. So that's a good thing, and a lot more of the religious texts have been printed now. And at this point, they were bemoaning the problems that the Hammadi Library and Dead Sea Scrolls had through the scholars and printing. It was taking forever. There's a lot of political stuff going on and all that garbage. And they're still not all printed, but large portions of it are now, which is pretty awesome. So what's interesting here is this guy writes from the author, a Gnostic point of view using analytical psychology from Carl Jung. And I read this one section, and I had to put the book down and walk away and just think about it, because all these things flooded my mind, and it gave me a new perspective about how to read and apply metaphor, biblical literature, and religious literature in general, and how it still is relevant based on the ideas of analytical psychology. And one of the things that I was kind of upset with, he gives a little chart here, which is kind of inaccurate, I think, personally. You can see right here it says experience, myth, ritual, internalization, and then the other one is experience, scripture, dogma, commandment, and it kind of breaks off it. There's no circle. But through dogma and commandment, you can also internalize, because commandment is there for a reason, and that is for anti-assimilation. So, what I'm saying is, because he's a Gnostic, he's kind of against Jewish law, thinks it's a little bit rigid, but you can still become an individual and internalize commandments and still complete the circle. It's amazing. So, getting on to that, page 116, he has a section on Sophia, and this is a point where it's not, I like it, not exactly like the Buddha underneath the bow tree, but when the Buddha discovers something and he had the experience and he walks away from it and he looks back. I didn't stand there and look back at the tree as long as the Buddha did, but I did pace quite a bit after this opened up in my brain of seeing this. And this is what he's talking about. Why, one might ask, is it at all useful or even necessary for Sophia, the word, the soul, the psyche, and the ego to leap out after the deceptive light and undergo such trials and sorrows as well as joys and triumphs? It is once again none other than Jung who offered us one of the best replies when he wrote, "Were it not for the leaping and twinkling of the soul, man would run away in his greatest passion, idleness." And that was pretty interesting. When I read that, I realized that I would never read the first chapter of Genesis again the same way, ever. Because what's interesting is the influences of the archetype on the subconscious, and then the subconscious impressing or moving the conscious to create order out of disorder. And I have a bunch of text sitting all around me here, and I just want you to think about that as we go through some of these pieces of literature. And we'll do the Hebrew first, and this is just amazing. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'ha'eretz. V'ha'eretz hayata tohu v'vohu el koshek el kinei teho. When God began to create the heaven and the earth being unformed and void, with darkness over the surface of the deep, and a wind from God sweeping over the waters. I threw in verse 2 there, but it's amazing. So here an impression is made on an unformed, and things start to become ordered, and the individuation process starts. Amazing. So we get the same thing in the text of the Upanishads, and this is probably one of my favorite things here. In the beginning, this world was just a single body, shaped like a man.